welcome back to our channel.
So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit more personal to me. It's actually extremely personal to me. I have hyperhidrosis. My hands and feet start to excessively and like so unusually sweat and leave puddles behind me. So today we're going to be talking about what I've tried, what I haven't tried, what I am thinking of trying, and what I probably will never try, and share my tips with you for my 31 years of hyperhidrosis.
Yeah, so Sunny's hands, her hands are like a water faucet, especially when she gets really excited, and she gets excited pretty easily. So in fact, actually, like when we first posted our YouTube teaser for our friends, she was so excited, and I remember her hands, like it literally went from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, it was like dry, and all of a sudden it was producing like so much sweat, and on the ground it was like a puddle of sweat.
It was like a river forming.
Yeah.
And I remember, I have so many of these stories, but the first day that I ever went over her house, it was during the summer. So this is when no, this was the first time ever, and we went to Target together.
Okay.
Yeah. So that time, it was really hot. It was like during the summer. We were eating something in her bedroom. I don't know what triggered it, but something triggered, and my hands and feet started sweating so much. And this is when I was young. You know, we were young. I was still self-conscious about
Did I know
sweating.
it back then that you had it?
I don't think I told you.
Okay.
And I think that's what made it like even worse, that you didn't know it, and I was leaving like
oh no,
like puddles. But anyway, I remember leaving puddles, like trails of sweat on her hardwood floor, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, and
about
like
it.
she even like unfortunately ruined a lot of pretty shoes because she was constantly sweating. The good thing is that with hyperhidrosis, it gives off watery sweat. It's not oily, so it doesn't give off BO. So
Do I smell?
Goodness.
Yeah, so I don't have BO, guys. The only thing is though, the sleeves and my sneakers, they tend to, you know, remain soaked in my sweat, and that tends to grow bacteria. And when the sweat grows bacteria, that's when you start having this stinkiness.
Yeah, that's where the BO comes from.
So I had to throw out a lot of my sneakers because they would just, you know, after maybe like 2 weeks of wearing them, they would grow bacteria and you would smell it. But I finally found the one product that has resolved all that smelling issue. I will be sharing that secret weapon with you at the end of the video.
So there are different types of hyperhidrosis. There's what Sunny has, which is the primary focal hyperhidrosis, which is most of the sweating is either like the hands and the feet. That's what you have. And then it can also occur, I guess, like on the head, the face, the underarms. And then there's secondary hyperhidrosis, where it can be caused by, the sweating can be caused by either like a medical condition or like a side effect from a drug. And usually the sweating is like the whole entire body, or it could be maybe just one area. And it can usually happen when you're sleeping too. So
that's the difference between, I guess, the generalized secondary hyperhidrosis versus what I have. When I go to bed, I could be sweating, but in my sleep or when I wake up in the morning, my body kind of resets and I'm not sweating anymore at that point until there's another trigger.
So what would you say your triggers are?
Seriously, I feel like anything is my trigger, right? Definitely being angry. Like I feel the heat and then I start sweating. Stress, anxiety, heat, humidity.
So anything basically that gives you emotion.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, I guess we found it.
So the first thing I tried years ago was the prescription strength aluminum containing antiperspirants.
So with these aluminum containing antiperspirants, there's been concerns that it can lead to breast cancer or Alzheimer's, but to date, there's really no link between the two.
Yeah, and these don't get absorbed systemically. What they do is the aluminum kind of plugs the sweat glands and the sweat ducts so that the sweat kind of doesn't sip out. And when I tried this, I did use it consecutively each night. And the way I would use them is it's kind of liquidy, so I would just put it on my hands and feet, rub them in between my hands, like my fingers and my toes, wear socks and gloves over it so that I don't touch anything while I'm sleeping, and I would always wear it at nighttime.
So did you have any side effects from that?
Yeah, because it's topical, I guess it does sting and burn when you apply it, especially if you have a cut. I don't think you should be using it when you do have a cut. But for me, that was hard because I have eczema and I have cuts all over my hands all the time. Yeah. So not only that, but it was very drying, like very drying to a point of cracking my hands and feet, which irritated my eczema even more. So I actually had to stop using it. And I tried and then I moved on to trying oral medication.
So what like oral medications have you tried?
So I've tried a medication in the class called anticholinergic class. I use the Tolterodine and Oxybutynin.
Yeah, so these medications are generally used for overactive bladder, but there's been studies that have shown that it can help with hyperhidrosis.
Yeah, but then again, unfortunately, I couldn't give these a fair try because every time I took it, I felt a little lightheaded, and the dry mouth and the dry eyes were more bothersome to me than the actual sweating itself.
Yeah, so aside from the side effects that Sunny mentioned, these medications can cause blurred vision, constipation, urinary retention, and heart rhythm disturbance.
Yeah, so I couldn't try those anymore. And then I moved on to Propranolol.
So Propranolol is actually pretty commonly used for performance anxiety. So you see a lot of actors and singers use them to calm their nerves and reduce their excessive sweating.
Yeah, so because of my hyperhidrosis, my husband and I decided to get married in November, but I knew that being in front of like a whole bunch of people, my nerves will start acting up and it'll trigger my hyperhidrosis. So my doctor prescribed this for me for my wedding day.
The Propranolol?
Yeah, the Propranolol.
So do you think it worked?
It actually, I would say it did work because up until reception time when, you know, we were dancing like crazy and, you know, that up until that time, I actually had no signs of sweating at all. It's just when like, you know, Gangnam Style started playing and we're all like going crazy. That's when I started sweating. But up until that time, it was actually really, really effective. The only thing is, I think the Propranolol made me a little bit too calm. You know, at the weddings, like usually when the brides say thank you to moms and dads, they like, you know, it's emotional. They cry and it's just really emotional experience out of like gratitude and things like that. For me, I mean, at the rehearsal, do you remember at the rehearsal? Like, I was crying so much.
I was crying.
Yeah, we were all crying, and I was like, seriously like crying so much I couldn't even breathe. But for the wedding day, I took the Propranolol, and I think I was just like a little too zen. So when I was hugging my mom,
I remember you were saying hi to like the people in the audience.
Yes, right behind the row behind my mom and my dad, I saw my coworkers from Brooklyn that I haven't seen in a long time. So instead of like having that emotional connection with my mom and, you know, crying and thinking, I saw them and I waved hi. And I ruined the emotional experience, but that's because I was so like, I feel like I was just too chill.
Basically, aside from the possible side effects like being tired, dizzy, or lightheaded, you might be a little too chill. So there are other treatment options that Sunny hasn't tried. The first one being Iontophoresis, which is a no sweat machine.
So I haven't tried this myself, but I know my family friend, he actually made this machine with using batteries, like a DIY thing. He said it's a little annoying to use, but he did see a significant improvement.
So basically, you put your hands and feet in a pan, like a shallow pan of tap water, and what happens is that the electric current sent from the machine, it shuts down the sweat glands from producing sweat, and it takes about like 6 to 10 treatments. And you might need like 2 to 3 treatments a week. It does work, and I think the treatments take about like 20 to 40 minutes.
This is something that I'm looking into trying right now. I've been doing a lot of research. In the US, you do need a prescription, so I'm like trying to find a doctor who prescribed this for me. But I know in Canada, you could just order online without a prescription.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like a lot of people do see significant improvements with that. The effect usually lasts between 2 to 14 weeks after the last session.
The next one is something that I actually don't think I'll have the guts to try, but it's something that I should have tried for my wedding day instead of using the Propranolol.
which is Botox treatment. Botox is actually FDA approved for treatment for the underarms, but studies have shown that it can be effective for the hands and the feet. So how the Botox works is that it blocks the stimulation of the sweat glands, and most people notice results, I guess, within 4 to 5 days, and it generally, the results last about 4 to 6 months, sometimes even longer. So would you ever try this?
Well, you know me, I have zero tolerance to pain. Like, she has really high tolerance to pain, but I have zero.
I think it would kind of scare me too, actually.
Right? It's scary because I think it's not just one injection, you might have to get several injections. And especially on my hands and feet, they're very sensitive, so the idea really scares me. And then also a downside is that it's very expensive. I think it runs over $1,000. Yeah, $1,000. So I don't think I'll try this.
So the next option is surgery. So in the case of underarms, you can get surgery to remove the sweat glands, but if you're like Sunny and the hands and the feet are affected, there's a surgery, it's called sympathectomy, and that's where the nerves, where like the surgeon cuts or destroys certain nerves, and they're gonna have to collapse your lungs so that this can be done. This is like a major, really invasive surgery, and some people have had damage to the nerves after the surgery, and some people have even died from it.
Yeah, so I actually had a friend who knew somebody who had this surgery, and they said that that person had sweaty palms like me, and after the surgery the sweating on the hands stopped, but she started sweating on her knees. So I don't know how exaggerated this story is, but compensatory sweating is one of the known side effects for this procedure or surgery, where you actually sweat more after the surgery than you did before the surgery.
So tell us how you're dealing with the hyperhidrosis now.
So these days I focus more on lifestyle changes. So I try to wear roomier and more comfortable shoes, because for me it's really interesting. The sweating starts from my feet. So once I start feeling that sensation on my feet or discomfort on my feet, I start sweating, and then it triggers my hands to sweat as well. And also to prevent my sneakers from smelling, I use this guy. This is the Dove Dry Spray. This is literally the only thing that has kept my sneakers from having that smell from the sweating. Can you just smell my shoes? I'm gonna bring my sneakers.
What?
Just smell it. So you can tell, I don't know if you could see all these sweat stains. So clearly I sweated a lot in these. These are the canvas sneakers. But you smell it.
Wait, it smells good?
It doesn't, yeah, smell it. Just smell it.
Oh, I'm scared.
Does it smell good?
Yeah.
So it actually smells really fresh even after I sweated and this is drenched in sweat. Seriously, thank God. So this is my secret weapon. I use this every morning before I go out. What I do is I spray on my feet and I rub in between my toes and my toenails, everywhere, all the crevices on my feet with my hands, and then I wear socks over it and wear my sneakers. This literally saved my life. And hopefully I could start on the Iontophoresis soon, and I'll stop sweating altogether. And that's it for today. If you're struggling with hyperhidrosis, you're really not alone. And it's very uncomfortable, but please, please, please don't be self-conscious about it and shy away from living your life. Over the years, I've learned that most people are actually very understanding of this condition than I ever thought.
Yeah, I mean, we love Sunny the way she is, and she's so like funny and bright. Like, this is like something that, if she let this continually get this in the way, and and that stopped her from being the bright, bubbly person she is, that would be so sad. But like for the loved ones and for the people that love you, they won't care about this.
Yeah.
And if you have hyperhidrosis, please let us know what has been working out for you. Maybe Sunny can give it a try.
Thanks for watching. See you in our next video. And remember, we're always on call for you. Bye!